This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Caroline, you should tell them about the newest thing that Bloody Happy Hour is doing.
A Patreon.
It's a Patreon. What is that?
That means you're basically like a VIP member, and you get some perks. You maybe get like merch a little earlier. You get
Or exclusive merch.
You could get first dibs on signing up for a live show. You get episodes with no commercials.
You get our video because our video is no longer available on YouTube. It is only on Patreon. And the most important to me is you get videos of our live shows, but also bonus episodes each month. But if you're on a Patreon, you're VIP, you're going to get more.
Because I always have a lot of details I want to go to. I can law-splain. I might read a book.
This is also going to be the exclusive place that Dirty Chat is going to go to. In order to hear the full content, it's going to be Patreon. Where do they go again?
Patreon.com/BloodyHappyHour.
Hey y'all, I'm April.
And I'm Caroline.
And
This is your Bloody Happy Hour.
Caroline, are you ready for this?
This is your newest guilty pleasure.
It's the bloodiest part of your week.
Did we say something about it also being happy hour?
Show did.
Because we about to be sipping on some murder. Bloody Happy Hour.
Hey y'all, this is April.
And this is Caroline.
And this is Thirsty Thursday.
Thirsty Thursday, brought to you by Riverbend Wine and Spirits.
Downtown?
Not really, but kind of. Yes, downtown. They just opened, well, it's been there for like 7 weeks, but I just found it, so I just wanted to shout them out because they seem like nice people.
And we've needed a liquor store close downtown because
Yes, close to the studio.
it hasn't been convenient.
And let me tell y'all, if you go in there and you get some alcohol, just let them know that you heard about it from Bloody Happy Hour, just so they know. And then maybe they'll give us some free vodka or something.
Yes, and we're recording on National Beer Day.
Mm-hmm.
So I am drinking cerveza. It's actually Modelo, but it's Modelo Negra.
Oh,
So
what's
it's a dark
Negra?
beer. Black.
Oh.
Can you ask me why?
Yeah,
this
why?
is basically me. Because Modelo is Mexican.
Uh-huh.
Negra is
A
black.
black
and what
Mexican.
am
A
I?
Mexican. It's kind of like I'm a panda.
Y'all, we are going to Tulsa, Oklahoma today. Have we
Oh.
ever been there? We've been to Oklahoma. I don't know if we've been to Tulsa.
Oklahoma. I'm sure we've been to Tulsa. Wait, where did the lady go who she got that guy that she married and she ended up being found by the family in the backyard of the psychic founder, and there's something blue. And they
Is
had
that a
this
story
furniture
we
store.
covered?
Yeah, they had a furniture store.
That was New Mexico.
Could have been Arizona. I don't know. But I feel like it was Tulsa. Tulsa's in Oklahoma. Good story.
So we're going to Tulsa, and this is a different type of story. And I got to shout out to Sweet Pea, but he'll never hear it because he does not listen.
No.
He said we're too vulgar. And
Dare he?
he sent me this story, and it caught my eye. So I'm going to do it, and it's really quick.
Okay.
But we're going to go into some history on this. So then I had to do a deep dive on history. And then I wondered, why in the hell did I listen in school?
I don't think they taught us half this stuff in school.
I think they did because Sweet Pea knew this.
Okay, but they obviously were so boring when they taught it to us.
I think we just didn't retain it. Or we
No,
didn't listen
I
as they
definitely didn't retain it. Absolutely, because I didn't
Let's see
listen.
if you know where it's about to go. But let's just see. Okay.
It's the Tulsa Race Massacre?
Nope.
No.
Nope. So we're going to start off at the Moore Funeral Home, and this is 2015. So we're on April 30th, 2015. So this is 38-year-old Tabitha Lynch. She was a beautiful insurance adjuster, and she died of natural causes. You're like, where's this going? This is not true crime. she had some illness that she battled for years. So her family is going to this funeral home to get ready for her funeral. Okay? So a lot of the times the family will go early and they will just like pay their respects privately as a family, make sure the body looks okay before everybody gets there. So her family walks in the funeral home, and there's a woman standing at Tabitha's casket, and her hand is inside the casket, and she's got a little tote with her. So when she looks back and she sees the family, and she's like, "Oh, hi, I work here. I'm a skilled makeup artist. And I was just putting the final touches on Tabitha. I'm so sorry for your loss. If you just give me a little bit more privacy, then I'll be done soon." Okay, so the family was like, okay, we'll go wait out in the lobby for her to be done. They didn't think anything of it. So they left her alone to finish her job. When they went back in to see Tabitha, they would not have been able to even predict what they're about to see.
Oh, no.
So as they're walking to the casket, the lady is not there anymore. She's like nowhere to be found. They notice something on the ground, and when they look closer, they see it's Tabitha's hair on the floor.
Oh, she got a haircut?
She did get a haircut. When they looked at her closely, her makeup was smeared, and it looked as if she was going to a circus, like clown makeup.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no.
There was blood on her face. There was a gash in her forehead from her hairline down to her nose. And
What?
somebody had gave her a very noticeable, horrible haircut. Like, imagine like when you're little and you just grab the scissors and you just randomly cut all over on your hair.
Who is this lady?
So Tabitha's mother, of course, like screamed.
Clearly.
And the funeral director was like, wait a minute. That's a different type of scream. Like, usually you hear, like, boo-hooing.
Yeah.
But this was, like,
shocking.
terror.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he came in there with them, and he saw Tabitha's body, and he was like, what happened? And she goes, your makeup artist did this. I don't know who would play this type of trick, but this is not funny.
No.
And the funeral director was like, I don't have a makeup artist. There's no woman by this description that lives here.
Nope.
So he knew something was not right.
Very suspicious.
Very sus. So they called the police, of course. Now, Tabitha's funeral is about to start. Literally about to start. She looks bad. Her body was disrespected, assaulted. Somebody was trying to make her look really bad before her funeral. So they call the police. Police come in, but the director has to immediately try to take her body to the back and maybe undo this damage before the funeral, because the family wanted an open casket funeral. Tabitha was a beautiful girl, and her family wanted her to be seen. When he took her back to the back, he noticed that there was more damage. Not only did she already have what I told you, but her pants were missing, her clothes were torn, her shoes were missing, which I was like, they bury people in shoes?
Was she laying on a table at this time?
She was in the casket.
She was in the casket.
Uh-huh.
And the makeup lady was like, I'm going to do her makeup while she's in the casket?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like finishing touches.
Okay.
Before the funeral.
Okay.
And maybe that's normal. I don't know.
Couldn't tell you. Never worked there.
Her shoes were missing, and one of her toes was sliced off. And so were both breasts. Sliced off. Not just sliced off.
She
nowhere to be
spent a lot of
found.
time with her, it sounds like.
And nowhere to be found. Like, they weren't on the floor. They weren't in the casket. They weren't, like, stuffed in her mouth. They must have been in her tote.
Oh, shit. It was like the Wicked Witch with the little... She rode her bicycle with that basket.
I need a drink of a Modelo.
Oh, my... Okay, so I'm
What
like...
are you thinking? Where are you at? Where are you at?
First of all, I'm like, was there not, like, blood every... Did you tell me there was...
She's dead.
Oh,
Don't they insanguinate you?
What the fuck is... I'm sorry, what?
Insanguinate is where they drain all your blood out.
Insanguinate?
Insanguination.
Oh, is that
Which
like
is what they just
is
said
that like
Libby
embalming?
was. What they just said Libby was.
No, well, that's what I said that, but you said that word, and I never heard that. Is it like embalming?
Embalming is so your body's preserved and it stays the same.
Do they drain
for your
you?
whole body?
Do
I
they?
don't know.
I don't know.
But I mean, you're dead, so you're not gonna bleed anymore.
You're right.
Blood
Your blood
has
is not
oxygen.
pumping anymore,
Yeah,
so
and
it won't.
has oxygen.
So you wouldn't bleed. So that's right. But I still want to
This
know
is
why
also
she died.
science class. Why she died?
Yeah,
She died of
natural causes.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's from her illness.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this isn't a murder case.
I know.
She's already dead.
Okay. Yeah.
So there's just basically a body there with no boobs, but there's no blood.
Because she's dead, and there's got it.
Caroline's picturing a dead body with no boobs right now.
I mean,
She's so
I guess this
visual.
lady wanted to do her own boob job, and she maybe had a hammer toe, and she wanted, I don't.
That's not what hammer toe. Oh, that is. What is hammer toe?
Hammer toe
thinking
is your
camel
middle
toe.
toe that it's like bent, like the little knuckle is bent like that, and it sticks up. And a bunion is the thumb toe. I know all about toe issues.
Zach
You
and
can find me
Addie
on
have hammer toe.
OnlyFans.
Okay, so you think she had
I
hammer
think
toe?
I
and
think she
needed a
had
toe?
hammer toe and needed a boob job, and so she.
Still not in the FBI.
I'm in the FDI, like Federal Dumbasses Association or whatever, FDA. I'm not
There's
crooked.
no good
I'm
reason.
not crooked enough to be in the FBI, and I can't lie good enough, so they probably would not have.
There's
me.
actually no good reason for anybody to do this. Like I was reading this and I was like, why would anybody do this? Okay,
Well.
so police come. They're like, we need to go to Tabitha's apartment. We need to look into her life and just figure this out because this is just so weird. This has to be personal, right? Gash in her
Clearly.
face, cutting off her boobs. This is somebody she should know. So they go to Tabitha's apartment, and Tabitha's son is still there. He has not left for the funeral yet. So he lets them in, and they said, we want to check her room. Which room is hers? He goes, oh, go in there. Actually, a lady from the funeral home just showed up.
Oh, hell no.
She said that she wanted to look through her jewelry and take some jewelry so that she wanted to put some pretty jewelry on her for her
This
funeral.
lady probably did this everywhere, and she was collecting dead parts of dead people, and she made her own little
and
human.
kept her jewelry. Oh, she was like Ed Gainish.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, I've changed my theory. I'm back in
I
the
like that
I'm back in the
theory better.
FBI, yeah.
I like that theory better.
And now a word from our sponsors.
So the police were like, lady from the funeral home. So they go into the room and they see a lady with a tote, and she's stuffing shit in her bag, like jewelry. But also in her bag is a folding knife, a pair of scissors with hair attached to it, hair that looks just like Tabitha's,
Oh,
and a
hell.
box cutter. No toe, no boobs.
Because she already put it on the other body
On
parts.
the other body parts. She already
from the-
sewed it to
Yes.
the other body parts.
She's like Jack, like on Nightmare Before Christmas, where they
Okay.
sew where the doctor sews the girl all together.
So, this lady's name is Shayna
Oh,
Sims
no, that's very...
of Miami, Oklahoma.
That is a fake place.
I've
It's
been
not
there.
real.
I've been there.
That motherfucker right there is not real.
Miami, Oklahoma. Shayna, that's a red flag. That's basically like a Sheila.
That is a Sheila.
Never
Sorry.
trust a
What if your
Shayna
name is
or Sheila.
Nurse Sheena? Shayla? Nurse
Sheila?
Sheena? No. Nurse Sheena in Utah
Oh. Wait, which
with
one was
red
that?
hair. I'm just making up
Oh,
the
no.
worst of
Red
the worst.
hair, she could be trusted.
Nurse Sheena.
Leave the redhead out of it.
Nurse Sheena from Utah
Oh, with cats.
with cats.
Oh, she just
Does it get worse?
hired. We need to just
We
do
need a
the firing
T-shirt
squad
that
for
says
her.
Nurse Sheila. I like
Sheila.
Shayna. In Utah with cats.
Yeah, biggest red flag ever.
There you go.
Okay, so they have to investigate into Shayna. And after they look into her a little bit more, they find out that Shayna and Tabitha were frenemies.
Oh, no.
And they were always in competition with each other. And according to Shayna, Tabitha was allegedly having an affair with Shayna's husband, Monty. And Tabitha needed retribution. I was going to say Respucia. But she died and she never got to get it. So she had to get retribution at the funeral home some type of way. She needed her to look like shit for her funeral.
Okay, well.
I added that in there. But basically, she
Yeah,
wanted
yeah, no,
retribution.
yeah.
And she really wanted her to look like shit for her funeral. She
Yeah.
wanted people to pass by her body and see her look like shit.
Wow.
And if you see you'll see a picture of Tabitha, and Tabitha
good.
looked pretty in real, like was beautiful in real life. Shayna, not so much. So, of course, Shayna was arrested, and she lawyered up really quick. And it turns out that Shayna has a history of being a jealous wife. And at this time, she had already had a pending stalking charge, an assault charge, and a protective order put against her by another woman named Christina Perez.
Oh, my gosh.
So she hates Tabitha, but obviously she hated another woman named Christina. And she also thought Christina was having an affair with her husband, Monty. Monty ain't even that cute.
No.
Okay?
No.
Now, Christina wasn't having an affair with Monty, and neither was Tabitha. It was all in Shayna's head. They were just ex-girlfriends that were prettier than her, and she was jealous. That's what it boils down to. Christina dated Monty 5 years before Shayna even knew him, and Tabitha was a high school girlfriend.
Oh, gosh.
So, why? But also, Shayna had a history of bipolar disorder and schizophrenia.
You schizos always gotta ruin it.
But she was competent to stand trial, so bitch is going to trial.
Good.
As she should.
As she absolutely should.
And while this is all going on, husband gets a protective order against her and leaves her, as he should. Because she's making all this up in her head. Yeah, you're panicking and mutilating bodies for no reason. So, trials like going on, and she gets released out on bond on one condition, that she cannot go to Tulsa. Stay out of Tulsa, because that's where Tabitha's family is. That's where Tabitha's kids are. We don't trust you. You go there for emergencies only.
Yeah.
It took 3 days for Shayna to take her ass to Tulsa. She put on a wig and she put on some sunglasses.
She's probably trying to go find Dee Dee.
Went straight to
Or Winona.
Tabitha's apartment complex. But we don't know what she was going to do, because somebody found her with her recognized her ankle monitor. Called the police. She went back to jail. She had to finish her trial, and she was found guilty of 5 charges. She got 20 years total. Her charges were concealing stolen property, because she stole her pants and stole her shoes
And stole her
jewelry.
boobs and her toe.
They never found out what she did with the boobs and the toe.
Did they ask her why she did that? Why
she never,
did she say, I didn't cut that off? I didn't do that.
She just said no.
I hate Shayna, Shayna, Sheena, Sheila, whatever your name is.
Shayna. She had a burglary charge. She had unauthorized dissection of a body and unlawful removal of a body parts and interrupting a funeral. Because what happened is...
Well, then she couldn't have the funeral because they had to do an investigation.
And the body had to be cremated. So they didn't even get their wishes.
And she looked like a clown.
So that's why they cremated her.
Well,
Her
I hope
face
that she is haunting her right now, all the time.
So at least the Lynch family got justice because she gets sentenced to 20 years in jail.
Yeah, she'll probably get released in 3 years with good service or something.
4.
No!
You got it right, because in November 2021, or I would have been doing the story if it didn't have some type of weird twist to it.
Shit.
So let's hear why she gets released.
Oh my gosh. What did she do?
So she gets sentenced in 2017.
She did some finger banging. I hate people. This is why I love my dogs. I do love some people out there, though, so just so you know. Just clarify.
A woman convicted of slicing up the corpse of another woman who was in a casket back in 2015 has now had her conviction and her sentence dismissed. Shayna Sims has been released from prison after serving 4 years of her 20-year sentence. She argued the state didn't have jurisdiction to prosecute her because her victim, Tabitha Lynch, was Native American and because the crime was within the boundaries of the Creek Nation. News on 6's Ashlyn Brothers explains what's next. Ashlyn.
Lori, the Tulsa County DA tells me he's disheartened and disgusted and says surely this is not the intent of the Supreme Court ruling on tribal jurisdiction. Tulsa County DA Steve Kunzweiler says the McGirt decision has created a mess.
To say there are going to be tribal citizens out there who are going to become victims of crimes and they're never going to get justice, or the justice they got in state court is going to be taken away from them. I just can't imagine that that is what McGirt means.
He says it's sickening that Shayna Sims is free.
This person got to do all those horrific acts and not have any kind of permanent record to follow her, to be held accountable as a jury did.
In 2015, Sims went into a Tulsa funeral home at 19th and Memorial where Tabitha Lynch was in a casket. Court records say Sims cut Lynch from the forehead to the top of her nose, cut her hair, smeared her makeup, cut off a toe and both breasts before removing Lynch's pants and taking photos of the body.
You just know it's not right. It's just flat out not right.
A jury found Sims guilty in 2017 of concealing stolen property, burglary, unauthorized dissection of a body, unlawful removal of a body part, and interrupting a funeral. She was sentenced to 20 years.
I'd like to see the Supreme Court look at this kind of a fact pattern and say, yeah, that's justice.
Sims appealed and the appeals court agreed because the victim had a 164th Indian blood and the crime occurred within the Creek Nation, the state didn't have jurisdiction and the case should be dismissed.
Unless the feds pick this thing up because they believe the statute of limitations has not run, to my belief, in all likelihood it has run, there will be no justice. There flat out won't be any justice.
No justice.
And the U.S. Attorney's Office says Sims is not in federal custody, and based on the dates, they believe the statute of limitations has expired and that the tribes cannot pick up the case because Sims is not a tribal member. We also asked Shayna Sims' mother for a statement, and she declined to comment. Ashlyn Brothers, Oklahoma's Own, News on 6.
What? I'm so confused. We need to do indigenous people because I don't understand what just happened.
I went on a full
I can only imagine. I would
deep
be
dive.
I would be part of a tribe at the end of that. I would actually be.
I was like, okay, this is gonna lead back to Andrew Jackson and the Trail of Tears. What we do know about Oklahoma. Okay, let me just tell you what the McGirt is. What we do know about Oklahoma is it is basically Indian country, right? There's a lot of still Indian reservations. There's Choctaw country there. And in Miami, which I told you I was, you will see like Indians there. Like we were at a game and there was a ceremony and they had like their own flags, like their tribal flags. They had on their moccasins, they had on fringe, they had on feathers.
Like I'm not trying to be any offensive. Like, do they really, is it like they have the big feathers and they just wear the little.
Not every day and all the time, but it is still a part of like the apparel.
But do they like teepees? Is that just a...
So supposedly there is still some reservations that still want to live like that.
I have got to explore the world. Or just Oklahoma. It's not far.
I'm telling you, I fell into... I went from...
Do they work? Like, do they go to...
it's a regular community.
I mean, they go to
like
a
regular city.
Like they go teach during the day, and then at night they change into their Indian attire and sit Indian style.
No, I think they only do that like on certain occasions.
Okay.
Yeah, they only dress like that on certain occasions. You go to Walmart, you won't be able to tell. They'll just have beautiful, long, the best hair ever, and pretty skin color.
Oh, yeah.
But if it's something like... festive, like they were honoring something at this game, and so they were dressed like that.
We need to get a tribal member on the podcast because I need to know about this stuff.
Okay, so...
Or just a smart person to educate us, probably. That's probably what we need.
I did listen to some podcast. That didn't help, though. I even went to one of my teachers on campus. I was like, hey, what are you talking about today? Do you happen to be talking about the Trail of Tears? This is why. So the McGirt decision was passed May of 2020. So the other day. So the Supreme Court ruled that criminal cases involving tribal members on tribal lands, such as the Creek Nation, which is where this happened, should not be tried in the state court. So Oklahoma can't take this crime to court. The tribal nation can reserve the right to prosecute crimes committed on their land. And so I had to think about it, like if you watch Yellowstone, if you've watched some episodes of Criminal Minds, if there was a serial killer on Criminal Minds, right? But they were killing these Indians.
Yeah.
They had to ask permission and go to the Indian department and the Indian council the FBI had to come in and work with them. But when they caught them, the tribal got to prosecute them. So
this is so confusing. I mean, it's like, I get it, but it's like, how would you know? Did she know?
This bitch was smart.
She knew?
She was in jail May of 2020 when this was passed. And so in Tulsa, and if you're born and raised from Tulsa or Miami, you are most likely have some type of something. And the Tabitha, who was hurt, was 164th. But that doesn't matter. 164th Native American. So that's like a cinch.
Yeah.
But it didn't matter. And because it happened on tribal land.
What does that have? What is it? Why does it matter if she's 1/64th or 0%?
Because the law is if a Native American is hurt on Native American land, then the Native Americans can try that crime.
Can or have to?
Can reserve the right to try it.
So can they not? Can they say we're not trying it?
And then the state can have it.
And the state can have it.
Yeah.
But if you pass the statute of limitations, then you can't try it.
Yes, but this law wasn't in effect when
when she did it.
But what happened is there was a treaty that was made years and years ago. So
treaty.
Okay, so the Indian Removal Act.
Okay.
Do you know about that?
No.
Basically,
we didn't learn any of this in school.
Basically, Florida, Alabama, Georgia, or basically all of America. The Indians were here first, right? Well, we Americans wanted that land. Andrew Jackson wanted that land. There was a lot of gold on that land. So when he became president, he implemented the Indian Removal Act. And he told the white settlers that were there, hey, if you help me get rid of these Indians, then you can have this land that the Indians have been on all this time. This is in 1830, right? So all these tribes, the Creek, the Cherokee, the Choctaw, the Seminoles, that's why we have Florida Seminoles, right? Florida State Seminoles.
Oh, we did have the Washington Redskins, but...
Yeah, well, because that's not an Indian tribe. That's just what white people called them as a...
They got sunburnt?
No, like to talk down on them.
Oh.
It's like saying a yellow skin to a Chinese person, or it's like saying
Cracker?
the N-word or cracker or something. That's what they called the Indians. So that's why it was offensive.
Well, then now apparently the Redskins are wanting to be... They're like, hey, put the football team back to name it the Redskins.
Basically, Andrew Jackson was like, you Indians got to get the hell up out of here.
Yeah.
But we'll let you can go to Oklahoma. We'll let you have land there. And we promise, here's a treaty that we'll never bug you if you go to Oklahoma. You can have your land. Nobody will ever take this land from you. You can have all your traditions and your customs or whatever, but you got to get the hell up out of here. And so they had to walk in the winter, 60,000 Indians from all these things. 20,000 of them died or were killed. And if babies couldn't walk, they were killed because they would slow the Indians down and they needed them out of there. No. So when they got to Oklahoma, the promise was not kept because they just sent white settlers, because there was a law put into place that if you were brown skinned, you couldn't own land. So if a white settler came in and says, oh, I like this land, they took it away from the Indians. So the land that they were given was smaller and smaller and smaller. So it wasn't all of Oklahoma. It was like bits and pieces of Oklahoma. Then when Oklahoma became a state, they finally said, okay, Oklahoma can become a state of the United States, but we're going to leave the reservations as basically sacred. You can still have your own laws and you can have your own council. And that was never taken away. Mm-hmm. But nobody just ever honored it until this McGirt guy said, hey, I'm Indian. And he had life in prison for raping an Indian girl. But Oklahoma gave him life in prison. So he was just in jail reading history books. And he was like, why in the hell didn't I pay attention to this in school like us? So he saw that, wait a minute, my tribe should have
tried me.
Not
state.
Oklahoma. Yeah, not Oklahoma. Because what happens is it wasn't fair trials back then for Indians, right? So he took it all the way to the Supreme Court, and it was passed. That was McGirt who did that. So it was passed in 2020. So he got let out of jail, and he was a pedophile.
Oh hell!
So
does he then get tried by his Indian?
Yes, and he ended up going back.
Okay, good.
So, but what was meant to be a good thing always ends up there's always a loophole. So all the cases.
Wow, that's the loopiest loop.
Everybody in jail that caught on to this
was like,
they couldn't get out immediately, but they could have filed an appeal like Shayna did, and a lot of people got out. The only reason why Shayna wasn't retried by the tribe is because Shayna was just a basic white girl. And the tribe can't try another color. They can only try Indian on Indian crimes. So if you were to kill an Indian on Indian land, the tribe can't touch you. But there was no law put in place saying that Oklahoma could touch you.
Oh, my gosh.
Nothing like that happens until something like that happens.
Yeah.
You don't think about it. And it's probably just men that really just can't critically think.
They're too busy thinking about the Roman Empire.
So finally, after all that, in 2022, so she was out for a year and some months. The Supreme Court, because people were pissed, the family were pissed.
Yeah.
The Supreme Court said, and the United States ruled that Oklahoma and the federal government both have jurisdiction to prosecute crimes committed against Native Americans by non-Native Americans. So if a white person, a black person, a Mexican person, a Chinese person kills a Native American on tribal land, then the U.S. or the state can prosecute it. So now that's put in place, which means they could reinstate Shayna's crime.
Good.
So she goes back to jail by February of 2023.
Yesterday.
Yes. And so it took them like 5 days to finally put her back in jail.
Ooh, get that. I hope she didn't chop any boobs off while she was out, or toes.
That's what I was waiting for. I was like, is she going to date somebody and go after their ex-girlfriend before she goes back in jail?
Is
But
she even on her
she
medication
laid low.
anymore?
She laid low. She just bought wigs and sunglasses. And
Where
tried
does
to
she? I
hide.
was wondering, like, where do these people even work? Like, do they even have a job? Or like McDonald's or something like that?
Well, I
mean, that's
I
not.
think she laid low.
Well, if you do work at McDonald's, I sure hope you're fixing the ice cream machine, because it's always broken.
It's always broken. I think she laid low because everybody hated her.
Everybody hates me. Do we want to quickly visit the verdict for the?
Is it in?
The verdict is in.
Yes.
Do I need to connect?
Or are they gonna? Is
Yeah.
It, did they play it? Yeah.
Okay, disconnect, and I will connect, and we'll see what they have to say.
This history lesson.
We have that. First of all, that was that I loved it. I loved that. That was great.
So that's how I got on. I went from the Trail of Tears to the Battle of Gonzales, and I don't know where I'm going next. I think I'm gonna go to the.
I don't even know what the Trail of Tears is.
That was what I just told you. They called the Indian Trail from Florida to Oklahoma of Tears because 20,000
because that's where they
were
all
killed.
walked. And
because they wanted their land. But and Andrew Jackson's on the $20 bill because he committed genocide. But also because Florida and Alabama and all that is now part of the United States. So I guess they look at the positivity in
I
that.
don't know. I don't know anything about any of that, and I feel like I should. Here is the coming to you live from the Hollywood, California courthouse, the trial. Gareth Pursehouse, who was stalking his ex-girlfriend, the one who was engaged to Drew Carey for a minute.
Oh.
And she was the sex therapist in Hollywood, and she was the one who was thrown off the balcony, and he had the whole syringe full of nicotine.
Yes.
And
I wasn't thinking of that.
Yes, and he had that weird name, Pursehouse, and he looks way totally different than he used to.
I was thinking the Tennessee case. Aren't we waiting on a trial for that one too?
Yes, we're trying. That's Solomon. That's Grant Solomon.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So this is Pursehouse or whatever. This is what the guy looks like, and then I'll show you. Looks nothing like he used to. He used to look like a model. Okay, let's see what happens.
You can have the verdict forms over to the bailiff, please.
It's riveting.
All right, Mr. Clerk, if you would read the verdicts onto the record, please.
The Superior Court of the State of California, County of Los Angeles, Department 107, case number BA 485-380, people of the State of California versus Gareth Pursehouse. As to count one, we the jury in the above entitled action finding defendant Gareth Pursehouse guilty of the crime of murder in the first degree in violation of Penal Code Section 187, subsection A crime as charged in count one of the information. We further find the allegation that Gareth Pursehouse intentionally killed Amy Harwick by means of lying in wait within the meaning of Penal Code Section 190.2, subsection A, subsection 15 to be true. Dated September 28, 2023, juror number 1 foreperson. To count two, We, the jury, the above entitled action find the defendant, Garrett Pursehouse, guilty of the crime of burglary in the first degree in violation of Penal Code Section 459, a crime as charged in count 2 of the information. We further find the allegation that a person was present in the residence during the commission of the burglary to be true. Dated September 28, 2023, juror number 1, 4-person. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, are these your verdicts? So say you one, so say you all. Yes. Thank you.
Would either side like the jury poll?
Yes.
Please.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, as I call your juror number, please answer yes or no to the following question.
That's
Are
it.
these your verdicts and findings on the
They're
special
just polling
allegation?
them now.
Juror number 1.
Wow. We knew it. Justice is served.
Justice is served, but they always come back with the appeal, and all this bullshit.
Wait.
So.
No, this isn't the one. That
Hey, I'm Blair.
over his
And I'm
son.
Brittany.
This is
And we're the host of
Yeah, that
By
is
the Cover
Karen's
Podcast.
therapist. This is the sex therapist
We cover
who
everything
I was
from
watching the trial
mysteries, thrillers,
and was
romance,
supposed to have the
chick
verdict by
and
the time the
even some
episode came
smut.
out, but they had to
Don't
pause a
forget
week
the
because
smut.
of COVID and whatever. And they took a
We're
week
so
off,
excited
and
to
it
get this
ruined my
thing going
story.
and share this with you guys. We've been talking
There's
about this
the
for months, and
ending.
it's finally
Guilty
happening.
Yes.
Special shout out to
on the
Rogue Media for
shows,
helping
Law
us
and
with
Order.
this.
For sure. You can find us on Instagram at @bythecover_podcast.
You can also find us on
Yeah,
Facebook and
then,
TikTok, so
take
don't
away
forget to
the
give us a follow on
intensity when
those
they
two
do all the other
also.
stuff at the end.
And we are
Penal
so
Code
excited to dive into
6.45.
some of
Blah,
our
blah,
favorite
blah, blah,
books
blah,
and
blah.
share those with
They
you.
got to do it for the
We
record.
can't wait.
For the
Hope
record.
you love it.
Yeah. There we go. Okay, y'all got 2 verdicts and 1 story. We hope you enjoyed it. And we will
Hi,
see you
and
next
welcome to
week
Bustles
for
and
a
Bangers with
2
your
brand
hostess
new
Rachel
episodes.
and Christopher.
I love it when you say my name.
And you didn't say hi.
I didn't.
Where?
You just kept going. I'm
Always.
going to introduce the book. I'm not
It's-
reading it
it's-
because I don't like reading.
Girls like cowboy butts, and those jeans don't hide anything. Find us on Instagram at Bustles and Bangers or on RogueMediaNetwork.com.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.